Imagine you're a farmer, going about your daily routine. The sun is shining, the birds are singing, and you're out in your vast cornfield, the same field your family has worked for generations. Everything is normal, until it isn't. Your tractor hits something solid. Not a rock, something bigger, something metallic. You start digging, and what you uncover is so bizarre, so out of place, it feels like a scene from a movie. You've just found a ship, a massive historical ship, buried right in the middle of your landlocked American cornfield. This isn't a work of fiction. This is a real story that has left historians, archaeologists, and farmers completely baffled. How did a vessel designed for water end up miles from any significant river or ocean, hidden beneath layers of soil and stalks of corn? Today, we're diving deep into one of the most perplexing archaeological discoveries in American history. We'll explore the incredible true story of the steamboat Arabia, a ship lost to time and found in a place no one ever thought to look. Our story begins in 1856. The steamboat Arabia was the Amazon prime of its day. It was a magnificent sidewheeler, over 170 feet long, churning its way up the mighty Missouri River. It wasn't just a passenger vessel. It was a floating treasure chest, packed to the brim with 200 tons of cargo, destined for the frontier towns of the American West. Think of it. Tools, clothing, fine china, even champagne and jars of preserved pickles. Everything a pioneer family would need to build a new life. On board were 130 passengers, all dreaming of the opportunities that lay ahead. On September 5, 1856, as the Arabia steamed near what is now Kansas City, disaster struck. The Missouri River was a notoriously treacherous waterway, filled with hidden dangers. The biggest threat? Snags. These were entire trees, uprooted by the current, that lurked just beneath the surface like wooden icebergs. The Arabia's pilot saw a massive snag too late. The impact was catastrophic. A huge walnut tree trunk ripped through the hull like a spear. Water rushed in with terrifying speed. The captain, showing incredible calm, managed to steer the sinking vessel towards the riverbank. Panic erupted, but miraculously, every single person on board managed to scramble to safety.
Only one life was lost. A poor, forgotten mule that had been tied to some equipment on the deck. Within minutes, the magnificent Arabia, with all its precious cargo, slipped beneath the muddy waters of the Missouri and vanished. For a short while, the top of the ship's smokestacks and pilot house remained visible above the water, a ghostly reminder of the wreck. But the Missouri is a powerful and ever-changing river. It carries immense amounts of silt and sand. Over the next few days, the river's current buried the Arabia completely.
As the years went by, the river itself changed its course, as it often does. The channel shifted half a mile to the east. The land where the Arabia lay buried became a dry, fertile field. Eventually, a family bought the land and began farming it, completely unaware of the time capsule hidden just 45 feet beneath their feet. For 132 years, the Arabia was just a legend, a ghost story told by old riverboat captains. Several attempts were made to find it, but the river guarded its secret well. That is, until the Hawley family entered the picture. In the 1980s, Bob Hawley and his sons, David and Greg, were not archaeologists. They were HVAC contractors who shared a passion for local history and a fascination with the lost steamboats of the Missouri. They became obsessed with finding the Arabia. They spent years poring over old river maps, journals, and newspaper clippings, trying to pinpoint the wreck's location. Using these old maps, they were able to estimate where the river flowed back in 1856. They then used a sophisticated piece of equipment called a proton magnetometer to scan the area. Imagine a high-tech metal detector. After many failed attempts and dead ends, one day in 1987, they got a massive reading. It was in the middle of a cornfield in Kansas, miles from the current river. The farmer who owned the land was skeptical, to say the least. "You want to dig for a boat here?" he probably thought. But he gave them permission, on one condition. They had to be done before the spring planting season. So in the winter of 1988, The Hawley family embarked on an incredible treasure hunt. This wasn't a small dig. It was a massive engineering project. They brought in heavy machinery, including a 100-ton crane. They had to drill a series of wells and install 20 massive water pumps, running 24 hours a day, just to keep the groundwater from flooding their excavation site. They were pumping out 20,000 gallons of water per minute. Slowly, painstakingly, they removed the layers of dirt and mud. Then, on November 26, 1988, they hit something. It was the wooden planks of the steamboat's deck. They had found it. The ghost of the Missouri was real. What they uncovered was nothing short of breathtaking. Because the ship was buried in an oxygen-free, muddy tomb, its contents were perfectly preserved. It was like opening a time capsule from 1856. They found wooden crates filled with beautiful glassware and bottles of champagne, the corks still intact. They found stacks of fine English china with no chips or cracks. There were barrels filled with pickles that incredibly were still green and edible. One of the finders even tasted one, describing it as quite sour. The discoveries kept coming. They unearthed thousands of items, boots and shoes for men, women, and children, felt hats, tools of every kind, vials of perfume that still held their scent, jars of fruit preserves, even the skeleton of that poor mule, a somber reminder of the wreck. It was an astonishing snapshot of life on the American frontier. Each item told a story, not just about the people on the boat, but about the aspirations and daily lives of pioneers. It wasn't just gold or jewels. It was something far more valuable, a perfectly preserved slice of history. But finding the treasure was only half the battle. Now, they had to preserve it. As soon as these 132-year-old artifacts were exposed to air, they began to deteriorate rapidly. The Hawley family, with no formal training in conservation, had to learn on the fly. They set up a makeshift laboratory and worked tirelessly to clean, treat, and stabilize every single one of the over 200,000 items they recovered. It was a monumental task, fueled by pure passion and dedication. They realized they had something too important to keep to themselves. So, instead of selling off the collection piece by piece, they decided to do something extraordinary. They created a museum to share their incredible find with the world. Today, the Steamboat Arabia Museum in Kansas City is one of the most remarkable museums you can visit. Walking through it feels like stepping directly onto the deck of the Arabia in 1856. You can see the massive paddle wheel, the ship's anchor, and thousands of the beautifully preserved artifacts, all displayed exactly as they would have been stocked for that fateful journey. The story of the Arabia is a powerful reminder that history is not just in books. It's often right beneath our feet, waiting to be discovered in the most unexpected places. It's a testament to the power of a changing river, the fragility of human endeavor, and the incredible dedication of a family who believed in a legend. From a disaster on the Missouri River to a stunning discovery in a Kansas cornfield, the journey of the Steamboat Arabia is truly one of the greatest treasure stories in American history. What do you think is the most amazing part of this story? The preservation of the pickles, or the fact that an entire ship was found in a cornfield? Let me know in the comments below. Thanks for joining us on this incredible historical adventure. If you enjoyed this story, please hit that like button and subscribe for more amazing discoveries. We'll see you in the next video.